two others, criminals, led with him to be put to death. And when they had come to the place called Calvary, they crucified him and the criminals, one on the right hand and the other on the left. And Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. Jesus Christ was crucified. Before that, he was beaten, he was mocked, he was ridiculed. They pulled out hands full of hair from his face. His visage was so marred that he was unrecognizable. And they led him with two transgressors to a place, in the Latin is Calvary, but in the Greek is Golgotha. It's the place of the skull. Some believe they know where it is because they found a place outside the walls of Jerusalem that it resembles the round dome of a skull. Others believe they called it that was because it was a place where they crucified all the criminals. And it was a place of death, the place of the skull. And for many of those who were crucified, the Romans simply took them down and let them rot in open public. Their bones, their skulls, available for all to see. That's the death, the crucifixion that Jesus suffered. And it pleased God to do so. Why? Through his death, many would be made righteous. He's crucified. And he was buried. 1 Corinthians 15:3, for I delivered to you first of all that which I also received, that Christ died for our sins, according to the Scriptures, according to Isaiah 53, according to many, many other Scriptures in the Old Testament. And that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day, according to the Scriptures. And that he was seen by Cephas, or by Peter, and by the 12. And many others. Paul goes on after that. He was buried. Why was that an important fact surrounding the Easter story? Why was that important? Well, think about it. What do we do with dead people? We bury them. It's been a sacred ritual, Brother Henry, throughout the ages, through all civilizations and cultures. They buried the dead. They put them out of sight. Why? Because they're dead. And many blaspheme the crucifixion and the resurrection of Jesus Christ by saying that Jesus just swooned. There's been many authorities, both believers and unbelievers, that have contradicted that theory, and they said Jesus was certainly dead. And they buried him. He died with he was numbered among the transgressors, the criminals that hung on either side of him. You know, back to the texting this morning. I wish that there was a 50-50 chance that everyone that we witnessed to would be saved. Just like it was there on Golgotha that day. One thief on one side ridiculed him and mocked him and said, save us, you saved yourself, you saved so many others. And the other one rebuked him and said, this is an innocent man. And asked him, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus turned to them and said, certainly today you shall be with me in paradise. In paradise. There's a number with the transgressors. He died with them. But he was placed into a rich man's tomb. Joseph of Arimathea, a believer, a member of the Sanhedrin, went and begged for the body of Jesus. And so many of the others had deserted him, had run away. Peter, the night of his trial, sitting around the enemy's fire and denying him 3 times. Matthew 27:37, thou